don't need to use the gavel. So I'll call the meeting to order, please. And we'll begin this council meeting by acknowledging that the County of Prince Edward is on traditional land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We thank all generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, and we recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to the land. Today, the County of Prince Edward is still home to many First Nations and Métis people, and we are grateful to have an opportunity to meet here, work, and continue stewardship of the land. On behalf of the members of council, our municipal staff, I would like to welcome members of the public in attendance this evening, as well as those at home watching this meeting of council. This meeting is being live streamed, and any participation in the meeting proceedings will become part of the public record. The agenda package was published last week, enabling members of the public and council to become familiar with the material we will be discussing this evening. It is available at the county's website at thecounty.ca. Members of the public who wish to provide comments under the section of the agenda titled Comments from the Audience we're encouraged to do so by contacting the clerk's office at clerks@pecounty.on.ca and registering to speak by noon on the Monday before this council meeting. Clerk's office can provide additional information. This evening, I will invite members of the audience to make a comment after we hear from any pre-registrants. A reminder that if you do participate, your name will be included in the council minutes and form part of the public record and will be posted to the county's website. I want to remind everyone that we may differ in opinions, but it is important to remain respectful of each other. And for those in attendance, please refrain from clapping or cheering in the council chambers, as it detracts from the discussion and is in contravention of the Procedural By-Law. The recording from this meeting will be published on the county's website immediately and can be viewed by selecting streaming at the bottom right of the county's homepage at thecounty.ca. Bylaws listed on this agenda provide the force of law to decisions of council, and I would ask everybody to mute or silence their phones for the duration of the meeting. So we'll move to item number 3 in the agenda, disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Does anybody have anything to declare? Seeing none, if I could have a mover and a seconder to confirm the agenda, please. Councillor Prinzin, Councillor Maynard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Prinzin Maynard motion that the agenda for the council meeting of April 8, 2025 be confirmed.
Thank you. Those in favor? That carries. We don't close meeting. We don't have any reports coming forward, so we'll move into announcements. And I have Councillor McNaughton and then Councillor St. Jean. Councillor McNaughton.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a few announcements about some activities coming up throughout April. And the first is tomorrow in Milford, and it's our second last climate action consultations that staff are conducting with the support of a lot of volunteers from our Climate Action Plan working group to get feedback from the public and from councillors and whoever would like to provide feedback for that plan as it develops. So please go check it out. Tomorrow, Milford is at the Town Hall at 4:30 p.m. And the next and last public consultation is the Picton one that's happening at the community center at the arena. And that'll be sort of a big day on Saturday. And it will start with, there's a home retrofit program in the morning that's run in conjunction with Enbridge and Humber College, where they've put together a workshop that you can register for, and the information is online on the county's website, and go and hear about every home retrofit that you can actually do and find out about the rebates associated. And then immediately after that at noon, there's going to be a panel where municipal experts, either staff or council from our regional neighbors, talking about their climate action plan development, what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they hope to do, or what they wish they had done. And we've got a few really amazing professionals coming, and they have a lot of experience to share. So it's going to be really interesting. And after that, it goes straight into our own community consultation, where you'll have another chance to provide feedback. So I hope everyone comes to one of those if you've not been to one already. And you can also provide feedback on Have Your Say on connected to our website. So there's also a number of events coming up throughout the month that our staff have prepared related to Earth Day and all of our now annual Earth Day activities, including a bigger, better, and always growing tree giveaway. So that'll be later in April. I can't recall the date offhand, but it's now online on the Sustainability Hub and the website.
Councillor St. Jean.
Thank you, Your Worship. Easter's on its way, folks. So what I'd like to announce is that to remind everybody about the Picton Firefighters Association annual Easter egg hunt at the Crystal Palace here in Picton. As they say, hop on over for the Picton Firefighters annual Easter egg hunt. It's April the 18th with a rain date of April the 20th, just in case. Registration is at 9 a.m. The hunt starts at 10 a.m. With 2 age categories, 0 to 5 years, 6 to 11. And it's there's a nominal charge of $3 per child. And please bring your own basket. So hopefully the weather is beautiful that day and we don't have to reschedule. Hope to see everybody there.
Councillor Branderhorst.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. And while we're doing shout outs to the communities and events that are happening, just a quick put on your radar right now, even though this event happens Thursday, May 8th from 11 till 5, the 2025 Empty Bowls fundraiser for The Rock is happening right now. Tickets are selling out quite quickly, but that doesn't mean don't go out and buy some tickets and support The Rock. What this does is a great fundraiser and to keep their presence on Main Street and doing all the wonderful things that they do. So,
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Engelsdorfer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's more of a statement than an announcement, but I'm hoping you'll give me the opportunity to make it. I've been disappointed with the way that the Waterworks project in Wellington has unfolded. Frustrations are growing daily. Anger over detour roads and business disruptions nearing the boiling point, and my community's fracturing. It didn't have to be this way. I've been given promises on this project from day one. I was assured there was a solid plan and a plan that would work, and I'm a person that takes those words at face value. I put my trust in folks to give me the facts and straight information, and unfortunately, the experience in the past few months has broken my trust. Most residents understand that infrastructure means disruption. Most people can and will adjust, but they can't adjust when decisions appear to be made randomly with little notice and what appears to be in disregard for their homes and livelihoods. The residents of Ward 3 put their trust in me to serve in their best interest, and I'm not going to continue to make promises to my community that I know won't be kept or are subject to change without notice. I didn't support the project, but nevertheless, it was the direction of council to proceed. And therefore, I've been actively providing support to residents through the process, and I'll continue to do that. But I'm not going to keep trying to answer for the shortcomings and the lack of forethought on the project when it appears there are no answers. We appear to be blundering forward while showing little consideration for the residents who elected us. Instead of trying to work on solutions, we ignore the concerns in hopes that they'll resolve themselves. I'm also not comfortable with being a bystander while our family-run and locally owned businesses suffer, or while detour roads that never should have been detour roads continue to crumble away to dust. My integrity matters more than that. This council is responsible, no one else. It's time to show leadership and oversee this project on an ongoing basis. Communicate clearly with the community. Listen to them, hear their worries and concerns, and pivot when needed. I really hope we'll use this experience as an example in the future of how not to manage a project. It's time we as council understood how much trust has been eroded in our institution, and we must find a way to earn it back. And on that note, I'll be bringing forward a notice of motion at a future meeting for a vote of non-confidence in the mayor. And at the time, it'll be seconded by Councillor Prinzen.
Any other announcements? Okay, I've got one proclamation to read, and this concerns Owen Jones Memorial Cleanup Day, April 26th, 2025, and it reads as follows. Whereas Owen Arthur Jones, a resident of the town of Picton and a familiar figure in our community, passed away on December 25th, 2021 at the age of 68. And whereas for many years, Owen took it upon himself to work tirelessly during the spring, summer, and fall to keep the curbs and the gutters clear of debris, and in the winter months made sidewalks passable to pedestrians to enable safe access to businesses along Main Street. And whereas Owen valued his independence and privacy, taking great pride in his work with no expectation of recognition, remuneration, or gratitude. And whereas in 2022, on behalf of the community, Prince Edward County recognized Owen Arthur Jones and his efforts by proclaiming the first ever cleanup day named in his honor on April 23rd, 2022, an annual event that will be held in Owen's memory on one Saturday in April aligned with Earth Day. Therefore, I, Steve Ferguson, Mayor of the Corporation of the County of Prince Edward, do hereby proclaim Saturday, April 26, 2025 as Owen Jones Memorial Cleanup Day in Prince Edward County, an opportunity for residents to follow Owen's example to beautify the community he cared about. So with that, we'll move on to presentations. And the first one is Staff Sergeant John Hatch and Councillor Chris Brainey, who's chair of the OPP Detachment Board, to address council and present the OPP Detachment Board's annual report to council. And this is a 20-minute presentation, so over to you, Councillor and Detachment Commander. Oh, there he is.
Thank you. It gives me pleasure to present our 2024 annual report. However, it comes with a heavy heart that our staff sergeant is retiring at the end of the month, and it's good to see so many faces in the crowd, people from the detachment, our board, which I'll mention towards the end of the report. But I just wanted to thank John. Has created such an incredible culture of team building with his members and our board, and it won't go unnoticed in this report, and I think everybody will recognize what he's contributed and his team to our community policing mandates and how people in our community are feeling about our policing in general, which is very high. One thing in general, going to conferences with our board members, is the best practices that are coming out of Prince Edward County in general, and taking some of those best practices and encouraging other detachments to follow some of those. And it's because of the leadership that John leaves us and his team that we're where we are today, and we should all be very proud of that. Do you have that first slide, Caleb? You should do it. Do you want me to keep talking about how great John is? Yeah, not a problem.
I forgot to make an announcement. Could I make it now while we're waiting?
Sure, we've got some time here.
2 weeks.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, Councillor St. Jean said, well, Easter's coming. And it suddenly dawned on me that I totally forgot that we are going to have one of our 27th or 7th, an amazing anyway, Easter egg hunt at North Fork Centennial Park, and that's going to be on April the 19th. And sometimes Phil St. Jean gets up on a little thing and we throw things at him and he falls in a water tank, but that might be confusing two things. Anyway, it is. We're going to have that Easter egg hunt at the Northport Centennial Park. It's going to be on Saturday, April the 19th, always the Saturday before Easter, and everyone's welcome.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we ready to proceed here? Okay. Go ahead, Counselor.
All right, so it begins. So our background, so on April 1st, 2024, the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019 came into force, resulting in the dissolution of all of the Section 10 and 5.1 boards of the Police Services Act 1990. As a result, the Ontario Provincial Police Detachment Boards were created under that 2019 Act for every OPP detachment providing policing services to a municipality. The new detachment board framework introduces a modernized approach to that OPP policing by providing avenues for greater civilian governance while ensuring that each municipality receiving policing services from the OPP has the opportunity to represent their local perspectives, needs, and priorities. The Community Safety and Policing Act supports the provincial government's commitment to strengthening public confidence in policing and community well-being, demonstrates the respect for frontline policing personnel and the committees they serve by building the right supports and fair processes to enable police to effectively perform their duties and ensure community safety, and also deliver quality and efficient policing and policing oversight. The OPP Detachment Board is an independent civilian oversight board. This board fulfills its provincial responsibilities as outlined in that Community Safety and Policing Act 2019. The board also fosters accountability by acting as the intermediary to the OPP in the community by making evidence-based decisions and following best practices. The goals of the OPP Detachment Board are as outlined in the Section 68 to 71 of the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019. Our board governance structure is to ensure the delivery of adequate and effective policing in the municipality for which the board is responsible. It also provides accountability to the public through governance activities that contribute to the locally responsive policing, creating also an opportunity for civilian input into how policing is provided in the areas policed by the OPP, and providing for greater civilian governance by ensuring each municipality receiving policing services from the OPP has an opportunity to represent their local perspectives, needs, and priorities. Our board responsibilities is to advise the detachment commander on the development of the local OPP detachment action plan, to determine the objectives and priorities for the detachment, consult on the selection of a detachment commander, advise the detachment commander with respect to policing provided by the detachment, also to monitor the performance of the detachment commander, and to provide an annual report, which we're doing here this evening, to the municipality. Our board members are very proud of what the team that we've built in the last year. It's myself, I'm the chair. We have Councillor Bill Roberts, who sits around our horseshoe. Casey Hill is in attendance this evening as a community representative. Sarah Latursky, and Robert Rudder, who's also here with us this evening. And I thank each and every one of you for the time and commitment that you've put into our Police Services Board over the last year, and we look forward to achieving many other things with our detachment board. It's been very enjoyable serving. As I've said, we're very proud and privileged to be representing this detachment. Our accomplishments for this year. These are our highlights. We've established the OPP Detachment Board terms of reference, thanks to a bit of Casey's help. He's very good at these things. So, Prince Edward County OPP Detachment Board rules and procedures. The board's rules and procedures are in. You can see for yourselves. We approved also $3,000 for the OPP Family Wellness Night held on October 24th, which focused on strategies for improving mental wellness and resilience for local officers and their families. We also approved $5,000 to the St. Leonard's Community Support, Prevention and Residential Services for Youth Outreach, Consent and Boundaries, Healthy Unhealthy Relationships Program. We also endorsed the implementation of the Neighborhood Watch, Neighborhood Protect Program in Prince Edward County. And we've received regular updates on the implementation of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. At this point, I will turn it over to Staff Sergeant Hatch.
Good evening, Mayor Ferguson, CEO Wallace, municipal staff, the fine citizens of Prince Edward County, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight, as this will be my last annual presentation to council. I'm going to use my dad's philosophy. Whenever he gave a presentation, he said, follow these 3 tips. Be short, be sincere, and be seated. I gave my annual report to the detachment board on March 26th, and you can watch that on YouTube if you haven't done so already. And I didn't want to just regurgitate the data and the information from that. So for tonight, because I only have a limited amount of time, if I can get you to pull up my presentation, and I'll take the clicker, it might be a little bit easier. I'm going to give you, in my opinion, the top 10 policing successes in Prince Edward County over the last 10 years in the next 10 minutes. So if you can, yep. Slide that up a little bit. Yeah, so the top 10 policing successes in Prince Edward County from the last 10 years in the next 10 minutes. And Councillor Brainy already discussed this, but when I was here in November, my last presentation to council, you'll remember I spoke about the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. You heard me say that over 300 communities in the province, we were the 6th one to submit our plan. You heard me say that of all of the plans that have been submitted, ours is considered to be the gold standard in the province. People refer to ours all the time. When I was promoted to detachment commander in 2017, my number 1 priority, self-servingly, was to get this community safety and well-being plan up and running, because I knew that when we got it going, it was going to reduce our calls for service. I knew that we couldn't police our way out of our community problems. And it was only by working with our community partners, social services, Children's Aid, Alternatives for Women, Victim Services, Community Care for Seniors, the Canadian Mental Health Association, our local family health team, our municipality. It was only by working with them, we had to work upstream, to use the terminology in the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan, that we had to try to fix the problems within society because the police couldn't do it by ourselves. To refresh everybody's memories, the community came up with 5 pillars, 5 areas of concern. Those are housing and homelessness, senior support, poverty reduction, mental health and problematic substance abuse, and domestic violence and intimate partner violence. Proactively, the municipality has hired Hilary Fennell to take the lead on our plan, and I can guarantee to you, every single day, we are working towards improving each one of these areas. It's only by working together, not working in silos, that we can make our community safer. And from a policing perspective, we are going to reduce our calls for service in each one of these areas. And as you're going to see later on in this presentation, I'm going to show you how we've done that. If I can direct your attention to number 4, mental health and problematic substance abuse. Leave that. In my opinion, the second greatest success for Prince Edward County in the past 10 years is the implementation of IMPACT. And IMPACT is an acronym for Integrated Mobile Police and Co-Response Team. 10 years ago, this concept did not exist. The concept that a trained mental health professional would attend a call for service with a police officer to deal with somebody in crisis now exists today. And I'm very pleased to report that since its inception in 2022, our impact frontline workers have attended over 550 mental health calls for service. You will see from last year, the red number 171, we, the OPP, attended 171 mental health calls for service where somebody reached crisis. But the good news is now, today, we have the supports in place. We have a plan in place to take care of these people that are going through a crisis. Now, if I can just direct your attention to point number 5 of the Community Safety Wellbeing Plan, domestic violence and intimate partner violence. The third policing success in the past 10 years, in my opinion, has been the implementation of the DAII. That stands for the Detachment Abuse Issues Investigator. He's sitting right here, Detective Aaron Miller. We now have a full-time detective at the detachment whose primary responsibility is to look at every single domestic violence call to make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. We now have the supports in place that we can help these victims because we are looking at every single one of these calls, and this is a huge advantage for our community. We want to support our victims. You remember, in May of 2023, Mayor Ferguson proclaimed that domestic violence and intimate partner violence was an epidemic in Prince Edward County. And he was right. If you take a look at the slide, the red 222, we responded to 222 domestic violence incidents last year. Just think of that. 4 times a week, our officers were responding to a call where there was a domestic situation, a situation where tempers flared, things got out of hand, and somebody felt, for somebody's safety, that they had to dial 911 to get the police there. I say one of these calls is too many. 222 is an epidemic. But now, because of our DAII program, I am confident that we can make sure that these primary aggressors are charged appropriately and accordingly, and the victims are going to get the supports that they need. The next success, in my opinion, has been the implementation of body-worn cameras, in-car cameras, and the automatic license plate recognition system. We didn't have this technology 10 years ago. But today, every officer, want to stand up, Aaron? Every officer on patrol has a body-worn camera attached to their vest. Thank you. Every one of our cruisers has a camera mounted to the rearview mirror. So now we have access to actual footage, to that impaired driving incident, to that domestic violence scene, to that call with that crisis, with that person going through a mental health crisis. You've heard the saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. In court nowadays, all we have to do is press play, and the judge can see the evidence that we have to give. And at this point, I'd like to make a pitch to the municipality about looking at getting CCTV cameras. Just so you are aware, Prince Edward County is the only community in the Quinte area that does not use them. Quinte West has them, the city of Belleville has them, Napanee has them. I have a team of officers, Detective Aaron Miller, Mike Draystra, and Sergeant Aaron Bucci, who are willing to work with the community, with the municipality, to see what we can do to get CCTV cameras implemented in Prince Edward County. I guarantee it's going to make our community safer. So far I've talked about 4 concepts that did not exist 10 years ago. You know, the Community Safety Wellbeing Plan didn't exist. In the inception of impact, the implementation of DAII, and the adoption of body-worn cameras. Now that those are all in place, let me show you some numbers for the rest of the presentation. And it's one thing for me to stand here and say that Prince Edward County is one of the safest communities in the province, but it's another one for me to show you, and I'm going to prove it to you. Let's look at violent crime. Let's look at violent crime in Prince Edward County for the last 10 years. Look at the numbers. There's a lot of zeros up there. Unfortunately, you're going to see a 1 in 2020, and that was as a result of a manslaughter charge on a local drug dealer who sold some illegal drugs to an individual who unfortunately died of an overdose. But that's the only incident in the last 10 years where somebody died as a result of a criminal code offense. The numbers prove it. We live in a very safe community. Let's talk about property crime. For a bit of historical context, in 2018, we implemented the Community Street Crime Unit, CSCU, in all the detachments. Our detachment has 2 CSCU officers, and they work hand in hand with the officers out of Napanee and Frontenac. They work together to tackle street-level crime, like break and enter, mischief, and drug trafficking. Let's look at the property crimes by numbers. Arson. In the last 10 years, we have averaged 2.4 arson investigations. The last 2 years, 0 and 0. Let's look at break and enter investigations. For the last 10 years, we've averaged 62. Look at the numbers from 2014 to 2018, 84, 94, 91, 95. And then something magical happens in 2018, the numbers start to go down. And then 2022, 34. 2023, only 17. Last year, only 20. Just think of that. We only had 20 break and enters last year. The average is 62. That's 40 homeowners, people like yourselves, that did not come home to find their front door kicked in, their house ransacked, and their property stolen. We're reducing victimization in Prince Edward County. Look at the mischief investigations, the exact same thing. 130, 126, 120, an average of 90 a year. Look at the last 2 years, 56 and 53. When you add those 2 years together, we still don't come up with 130s we did in 2014. The data shows our property crime is trending downward. What does that mean? We're reducing the victimization in Prince Edward County. Number 7, highway safety. Whenever I do my community presentations, I show them this slide. I did one today in Picton at the Picton Rotary. And I show them this slide. There are 15 detachments in East Region. And I tell people we have some of the safest highways in the province. Prince Edward County is the only detachment that can say that we had 0 fatalities 2 years in a row, 2023 and 2024. That's something I'm very proud of as detachment commander. Let's look at our PI collisions, our personal injury motor vehicle collisions. The last 10 years, we've averaged 47. A PI collision is where somebody gets hurt in a car crash. They have to get taken to the hospital by ambulance. We've averaged 47 a year, almost 1 a week. Look at the last 3 years. 37, 36, 36. I can stand here in front of you tonight as a detachment commander and tell you we have some of the safest highways in the province. And the numbers prove it. Higher visibility and community engagement. We have a computer system called RMS. Whenever an officer goes out and does a community patrol, they can create an incident. Back in 2016, we had 105, about 2 a week. I took over as detachment commander in 2017, and I promoted visibility within the community. I promoted officers getting out, going to the schools, going to the hockey games. 4 years later, we're at 4 years later, we're at 280. And in 2024, last year, we had 726 community services incident. That's excellent. More police presence is a good thing, in my opinion. Next thing I'm going to discuss, and Councillor Brainy already discussed this, the increased mental health supports that we have now in the OPP. 10 years ago, we did not have this. Nowadays, we have psychologists, we have mental health clinicians. I hosted a family night, like the councillor said, last October, to bring awareness to the officers and their spouses of the supports that we have, because policing can be a very challenging profession. My priority was to focus on the wellness of the officers, because I knew that if our officers were healthy, then the community was going to be healthy as well. I'm very happy to report to you tonight that our detachment staffing is the highest it's ever been. We're at 87%. Every officer who could be coming to work is coming to work. And help is on the way. We have 3 more officers arriving in May. We have another recruit that's coming in August. And that's great for morale because the calls for service still keep coming in, but we have more officers to deal with them. And we have more officers, we have more time to do proactive work like ride programs and foot patrols. And I'm going to finish with this. Almost 200 years ago, so Robert Peel, the founder of policing, came up with these ideas. One of his core ideas was that the key to preventing crime is earning public support. Every community member must share the responsibility of preventing crime as if they were all volunteer members of the force. They will only accept this responsibility if the community supports and trusts the police. And I believe we have that here in Prince Edward County. He had 9 principles, and Peelian principle number 2 is to recognize always that the power of the police to fulfill their functions and duties is dependent on public approval of their existence, actions and behaviors, and on their ability to secure and maintain public respect. This is probably the slide I'm most proud of. The 10th policing success in Prince Edward County. Last year from January to December in 2024, out of over 11,000 calls for service, 2,600 traffic stops, 726 foot patrols, I had 0 public complaints for the officers in Prince Edward County. That's outstanding. It's unheard of, really. And it speaks to the professionalism and the dedication and the commitment to the community that each and every one of these officers in the detachment has. And as I've demonstrated throughout this presentation, by showing you the numbers and the data, not only from last year, but from the last 10 years, I've shown that crime in Prince Edward County is down. Our highways are some of the safest in the province. Our community is supportive of the work that we do. And our officers are engaged and they care about the community. So what's next? Where do we go from here? Well, as you've heard, I can retire in about 38 days. But I say I'm not counting the days, I'm going to make the days count. Over the course of the next 5 to 6 weeks, what I'm going to do, and Councillor Brainy mentioned that in his survey, I'm going to ask for input from the public. I am going to write the next detachment action plan for the next 3 years. I'm going to do community consultations from businesses, individuals. I want to find out from them what do they want to see from Prince Edward County OPP in the next 3 years. My plan is whoever the next detachment commander is going to be, I'm going to hand them the plan and say this is what the community wants. So for my community consultations, I want your opinions, I want your feedback, and anybody can send an email to prince.edward@opp.ca. And in wrapping up, I'm using Sir Robert Peel's principles that the police are the public and the public are the police. And it's only by working together and earning the trust and the respect that the police can continue to keep our community safe 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, because I always say that safety never sleeps in the county. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would just like to remind everybody that there is no clapping or applause based on the mayor's comments at the beginning of the meeting, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John. Okay, questions to either, well, we've got the chair and we've got the detachment commander. Councillor Maynard.
Thank you. Well, mine is not a question. I just wanted to take this chance. Detachment Commander Hatch, John, thank you. Thank you for your dedication to this community and to the support to the board and to your staff that have implemented your vision. It has been over the 2 terms that I've had to directly serve with the Police Services Board, now the detachment, OPP Detachment Board. It has been one of the greatest pleasures of my time on council. and I know how important the community safety well-being plan and launching that and having it as truly as the gold standard in the province. So we commit to carrying that on, and hopefully we'll see you maybe from time to time in a citizen's capacity. And I really wish you all the best in your retirement and all your future endeavors. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maynard.
Councillor Roberts.
What she said. So I'll make it personal then, John. I want to thank you for your platinum standard service to Prince Edward County. It's above the gold standard in my view. You and your OPP detachment certainly have earned and deserve robust public support and our profound respect and thanks. So thank you. I do have a question though.
Go ahead.
You referenced CCTV cameras. Are you comfortable sharing with us where those CCTV cameras might go and why they're not there now?
I can't answer as to why they're not there now. The technology is there, and I know we've been trying to have meetings with the municipality to move the ball forward, as the mayor likes to say. I know a lot of it comes down to finances, but there are grants within the province that we can apply for. And in terms of the locations, we already have them picked out from a policing perspective, and it's the major intersections, and it's along our entrances to Prince Edward County. We have some great examples from the other detachments on how quickly they can solve crime based on a license plate, based on a description of a vehicle. I think the benefits outweigh any of the negatives that some people might have. They are here in any municipality that you go to, but we don't have them here in Prince Edward County. And I think that we would make a major step forward for our community safety, for our investigative abilities, and it's going to make our community safer. I can promise that.
Yep, go ahead.
So John, if I'm understanding correctly, it's really a matter of the detachment and the municipality partnering to secure those grants to get those CCTV cameras in the places that you already know they should be.
100%. And I'm going to use the example that they used in LNA. The LNA OPP wrote a grant in conjunction with the municipality. It was a partnership with one of their IT leads, and they have placed these cameras at major intersections and at different places within the community. Everybody knows that they're there, but they're going to help us with our investigations. And there are lots of success stories. They had one last week where there was a theft at a certain business. The vehicle description went out. Within minutes, they had the license plate, and they were able to make an arrest about an hour later. Thank you.
Councillor Grasso, you're joining us remotely. You're on mute.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commander Hatch, thank you so much for your service. It's been amazing. I've only been here, well, I guess 13 years, but the work you've done is amazing.
Thank you.
Enjoy your retirement. You will get bored, and if you provide me a police check, and you can drive a vintage car, we'll have a conversation.
Okay, anybody else? Councillor McNaughton.
Thank you. So we met in this room in very early 2019, and since then I have seen the progression throughout the years from in regards to, I've been raising a kid. I know a lot of kids, and I spent a lot of time, or have spent a lot of time in schools, and I've seen the change that has gone, that has moved how the police and the youth of our community interact, and that I think has been a great source of learning, trust, and building for young people in the county who might traditionally not feel safe or not feel comfortable, or in the past might not have felt comfortable with law enforcement. And the shift to community and the shift to a more trust-building way of being connected, I think has changed that sense for a lot of young people. that I'm in contact with or that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's still lots and lots and lots of work to do in that realm, but I really appreciate the work that has been done, and I see the outcome, and I see the positive progression, and I thank you and your wonderful staff, and the future looks bright. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McNaughton. Thank you.
Councilor Pennell.
Thanks for an excellent report, but most purposely, I want to thank you for the atmosphere that's been created in Prince Edward County, not only to seniors, not only to the average individual, but the respect that you built from kids in our school and that, it has made one tremendous difference. And I truly thank you and wish you all the best in the future. And I understand you have a new wife and that, and just wonderful going.
Thank you, Councilor Pennell.
Your retirement.
Thank you.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't think I can compete with what's been said. You and I have enjoyed a great relationship. And I've got to commend you on, as was mentioned earlier, everything you've brought to the community. We see it every day. We see it when you or other members of the detachment are walking down the street, and you engage in conversation with the public, regardless who they are. You engage with other municipal services, particularly the fire department. And you bring humanity to the job. And many people, I think it's fair to say, don't view the police service as something that is synonymous with humanity and being human, but you have done that, and you particularly as the leader of the detachment. So I wish you all the best of luck in the remaining almost 37 days, as you make your way through, and as I say, everything you've done for the detachment, watching how members of the detachment have excelled, like Aaron there, Luke, who looks after the maintenance in the garage. So congratulations, job well done.
Thank you,
You
Worship.
should be extremely proud, and thank you so very, very much.
Thank you. And I'd just like to say thank you for all the support that we've had as a detachment, and especially from the detachment board. Like I said, we cannot do it alone. We're on the right track, and I'm excited for our future. So thank you again.
Yeah, well, that future is a large part because of your initiative. So thank you very much, John. Okay, can I have a mover and a seconder to receive? Councillor Maynard, Councillor Roberts.
Thank you, Your Worship, that the joint presentation by Staff Sergeant John Hatch, Detachment Commander, and Councillor Brainy, Chair of the OPP Detachment Board, regarding the OPP Detachment Boards and Commanders 2024 Annual Report to Council be received.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that carries. Thank you again. Thank you again, Councillor Brainy, for the report. We'll move now to 8.2, which is Sarah Fox, the Executive Director of Visit the County, to make a presentation and an update. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to thank Sergeant Hatch for all of his work, and you and your team have done an excellent job of community engagement, creating a friendly environment. And I want to note your uncanny knack for showing up just as office potlucks are about to begin.
My calendar.
Yeah. I hope you'll continue that in your retirement as well. Yeah.
Okay, welcome, Sarah. You've got 20 minutes.
Thank you so much. Well, good evening, members of council. My name is Sarah Fox, and I have been the executive director of Visit the County for almost 4 months now. And it's been a wonderful experience to connect with so many county businesses, partner organizations, and residents. We're so appreciative of the working relationships that we've developed with organizations such as the Chamber, Hey, Dwart. The Picton BIA, Stay PEC, the Arts Council, and PEC Wine. It's also been fantastic working with Economic Development Officer Karen Palmer, who's done a wonderful job of connecting and communicating across the county. So thank you for this opportunity to present the highlights from Visit the County's 2024 work and our activity plan for 2025. Our focus remains sustainable tourism growth with a strong emphasis on community alignment and economic impact. And this presentation will focus on our activities, and then I look forward to bringing forward a comprehensive financial report in a few months when the 2024 Municipal Accommodation Tax report has been finalized and when our annual audit has been completed. So our mission is simple yet vital: to enrich the quality of life in Prince Edward County through responsible destination marketing and management. And by 2030, we envision Prince Edward County as a world-class, year-round destination that's embraced by all stakeholders. Our volunteer board of directors, who were appointed by the previous council in 2022, possess an incredible array of knowledge and skills related to the tourism industry, to marketing, and to governance. They have recently transitioned from being a working board to a governance board, and I would like to applaud their incredible work that they did behind the scenes to establish the organization and to set it up for success. We have a small but mighty team, our mighty staff at Visit the County. Lindsay Medeiros is our talented marketing strategist who manages all of our programs and the implementation of our marketing initiatives. She's a whiz with data, and I'm excited to share some of the reports that she's produced. Ali Kaufman transitioned from staff to a contract role in mid-2024, and she is the brilliant mind behind all of our social media content. I also want to recognize former Executive Director Eleanor Cook, and her legacy includes a vibrant new brand, a reimagined website, and building the foundation for Visit the County. We wish her the best and appreciate everything that she contributed to the organization. So for 2024, this was a great year of accomplishments for Visit the County, in which we were able to record new heights of achievement in marketing reach. Our redesigned website, which was launched in April, delivered remarkable growth. We had 587,000 visits, which was up nearly 68% year over year. Our direct referrals to local businesses exceeded 94,000. In 2024, we expanded our storytelling with 509 businesses listed, 164 reels created, and over 1,000 new visual assets. On social, we hit 7.5 million impressions and gained 7,200 new Instagram followers. We added dynamic tools like an events calendar and tripper itineraries to our website to help visitors plan effectively. These were built in response to stakeholder input and visitor demand. It should be noted that the website is a living document, and it's constantly evolving and being updated. We're continuing to find new ways to measure engagement. New brand photography and video assets were taken in 2024, which showcases Prince Edward County's artistic, culinary, and agricultural character. It focuses on seasonal appeal, that means all 4 seasons, and authentic storytelling. With Perfect Pair PR, we achieved 119 earned media hits. That means articles that we did not commission, with an estimated $7.2 million in media value, introducing Prince Edward County to millions of potential travelers. We've also invested in paid media, including some notable printed publications, and we've worked with some influencers who amplified our reach and introduced us to new audiences. Some campaign highlights. Our Cozy and Scenic Route campaigns drove over 900,000 video plays and tens of thousands of visits to campaign pages, spotlighting local accommodations and scenic experiences. Destination Ontario's Spotlight and our own holiday gift guide helped push visitation into the shoulder season. This resulted in over 18 million impressions and 184,000 leads. Collaborations with Destination Ontario and RTO9 brought us to over 400 professional media assets, plus co-founded marketing initiatives that drove regional reach and visitation. I also want to note that in 2024, Stay PEC and Visit the County partnered on 2 paid marketing initiatives, one of which was the Destination Ontario Fall in the County campaign. And we're looking forward to continued collaboration to drive more overnight stays in the county. With participating restaurants increasing with every iteration, Countylicious generated 6.3 million impressions, 220,000 page views, and high praise from locals and visitors alike. This program was also a finalist for the Culinary Event of the Year at the Ontario Tourism Awards of Excellence in 2024. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is that in 2024, we debuted a new program called the Community Partnership Fund. This supported 12 local events, increasing both visitor engagement and community pride. We invested a total of $40,500 across initiatives. So while we're not able to review some of the financial information tonight, we do have some numbers to report. We're committed to collecting and reporting meaningful data that's going to help grow the tourism industry in a sustainable way and to highlight the economic impact of tourism on Prince Edward County. So according to a report from Environics, the number of unique visitors reached over 360,000 in 2024, which is our highest to date since 2019. And then these next 2 graphs come from the AirDNA Travel Insights platform, which sources data from Airbnb and VRBO. It does not include the hotels. So while this data isn't perfect, it does give us insights into long-term trends. What we can see is that the number of room nights booked is on an upward trend after a post-COVID downturn. And as for revenue generated by STAs, please note that this graph is measured in US dollars, and it also includes cleaning fees. So it's somewhat inflated compared to our MAT report that gets generated. However, the indication is that we were also trending upwards in 2025 compared to 2024. So that's it for 2024 report. Now on to the activity plan for 2025. Our annual plan this year is based on 3 pillars: enriching the lives of residents, hosting visitors, and growing tourism revenues. In 2025, our focus is sharpening around the community. We're going to implement a robust community engagement plan. We're going to launch a community-facing webpage and hold a resident town hall to ensure alignment. Obtaining and sharing data will also be a high priority. We're creating an always-on visitor experience survey, and we're seeking new opportunities to pool resources to purchase data that will indicate the impact of tourism. And of course, focusing on building and strengthening relationships with our community partners will be constant. Oh, looks like I got ahead of myself. There's a long list in the community engagement. Oh, I think I skipped over one. Oh, yes, okay. This is something we'd really like to focus on because in light of world events, it's more important than ever to be vocal about our organizational values and to do everything that we can to create a safe and inclusive place for visitors. And so for that reason, we'll be partnering with All Welcome Here to administer a survey specifically for racialized visitors. And we're going to continue working with the Canadian Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce and other 2S LGBTQIA+ advocates. So for hosting visitors, as part of our agreement with the county, we'll continue to monitor and deliver printed materials to the 10 visitor information locations around the county throughout the high season. The printed guides that I've shared with each member of council tonight were developed and printed in 2024 and will be distributed to strategic tourism information centers throughout Ontario. We're also in the process of updating the County Ambassador Training Program and will be hosting a season launch webinar on April 29th, which contains useful information to answer visitor questions, and that's open for anybody to register. Our third pillar, growing tourism revenues, means launching our major marketing project in 2025, which is the revitalized Taste Trail and Arts Trail as a Visit the County tourism product. Due to our staffing transition earlier this year, the timelines for launching these products have shifted to the fourth quarter of the year. So we're soon going to start engaging with operators to direct experience relating to the arts and Taste Trail to create ad hoc working groups to assist in the development of these products. For our annual marketing plan, we're using quarterly themes and an agile campaign model. We're going to leverage our seasonal appeal, winter wellness, spring blooms, summer planning, cozy holidays, with our PR agency of record leading efforts. As we're anticipating a higher volume of visitors this year, we'll be launching our Plan Ahead campaign in the spring, and it will continue through the summer months. This campaign will educate prospective visitors about making reservations in advance, helping them understand their travel options, and will encourage them to visit locations off the beaten path to ideally alleviate any congestion in our towns. In order to facilitate better and more consistent reporting in the future, we're suggesting that we change the timeline for reporting to council and to our interest holders. So I intend to return to council in early summer to give a full financial report once our 2024 MAT report has been finalized and our annual audit has been complete. We've already scheduled our AGM for June 16th of this year, but going forward, we're ideally going to be holding it in November to give a good cadence of updates throughout the year to everybody, to all of our stakeholders. So we look forward to sharing more opportunities to share information at our season launch webinars. We're going to be soliciting feedback from the community at our resident town hall, which the date is TBD, and we'll be issuing a resident sentiment survey in the coming months. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak this evening, and I look forward to your questions.
Thanks very much, Sarah. Great presentation. I'm sure there are going to be some questions. Councillor Branderhorst.
Hi, Sarah, and thank you for this presentation. Honestly, the only thing, I don't even have a question this time around, which is saying something. But I am just so thankful for all the listening that you have done this last little bit, and since you've taken on this role, because through this presentation, you can see littered throughout the entirety of the thing on the back of this pamphlet that you sent out. You have listened to the community. Arts being mentioned, I know the arts community has wanted to be more branded into this community, and it's happening right away. Tourism management and hearing from the community stakeholders, other individuals, how we can improve, how we can be better. You're just listening, and sometimes that does a wondrous thing. So just thank you for what you've presented thus far, and I sincerely look forward to what you bring forward in the future. Thanks.
Councillor Brandy.
Thank you, Sarah. I can't say enough how happy I am to see you in the role. You've just a very short period of time. You've been so visible in the community, and you definitely have our support. We're looking forward to the mandate and what Visit the County can do to enhance our tourism in the county, especially during these economic times I think we're going to be having. It's going to be a very important role for you. I'd like to also recognize Charlie McKee, your vice chair, who I thoroughly enjoy working with too, and I know how much time and effort he puts into your board, but you've got the support from our Chamber of Commerce and our council, and just let us know throughout the year, Sarah, whatever we can do to help and move the needle forward and help you achieve your mandate. We're happy to do so. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Brainy.
Councillor St. Jean, then Councillor Maynard.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I'm just going to keep heaping on the praise here, Sarah. I had the pleasure of working with you during your tenure as Executive Director of the Picton BIA. We missed you when you left. Because
You're doing okay now, I'm pretty sure.
You seem to be doing just fine. I just want to, again, I'll add to the little bit to the chorus here. So impressed with where you're taking Visit the County, and yes, you've listened to so much of what the community is saying. I know you're visiting with all of the various organizations. You were at the Picton BIA meeting not too long ago to give us a little bit of a pre-presentation, and I just want to say that the initial vision of Visit the County has changed, and I think it's changed for the good. So I look forward to supporting you more and the organization more in the future, because I think every one of us recognizes how important it's our number 2 economic driver. It's our largest employer. It's our second largest economic driver behind agriculture. It's important that not only do we do it and continue to improve on it, but do it well. So for that, I thank you. But I do have a question. And I think I may have asked you this before, I'm not sure, with regards to the value of overnight stays. I tend to lean into this question because I know there's a multiplier that comes with every dollar that is spent, not on a day trip, but on a regular, on an overnight at least. Have you had any opportunity to do any research with that in that respect?
Yes, that's an excellent question, and I think that it can probably be better addressed when I come back in June or July with the financial report.
I look forward to asking that question again.
We're very tuned in to the economic value and impact of tourism, and I think that through some of the statistical tools that we're looking to invest in the near future, we're going to be able to speak more accurately to those numbers.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Councillor Maynard.
Thank you, Worship. Thank you, Sarah, for your deputation. I was encouraged to hear you say that you expect a higher level of visitors this year, and it seems by every indication that there will be a lot of people that will choose to vacation locally, or at least more locally than they would before. So I hope that there is maybe a little glimmer of hope in the dark times that we're going through, that we may actually see some positive outcome from that. So I'll be interested to see. Interestingly, I was in Toronto at a conference last week, and I actually had a chance to speak to 3 different sets of Americans that were vacationing and actually had planned on coming to Canada if they thought they could be welcomed and safe. And I said, you are not the problem, so you will be welcome. So I think not only should we get more local visitors, but I would not be surprised to see that we don't see an outpouring of visitors from the south of the border. So good luck. I'll be interested to see. And I know sometimes it's hard to collect all that data, but if whatever you can, it would be really interesting to find out next year.
Yes, actually, thank you very much, Councillor Maynard, for your kind words. And if I may speak to that, Destination Ontario has been working with a data research group who have been doing pulse surveys with U.S. visitors on their sentiment coming to Canada. They just released the 2nd iteration of that report, which we'll be sharing in our newsletter on Thursday. And generally what we see is that U.S. interest in coming to Canada has not waned. They still see it as a good place to go with lots of opportunities. The challenge lies in whether or not Canadians will be welcoming. So I say, the party line here is, don't be a jerk, leave your MAGA hat at home, and you're very, very welcome in our community. And so that's certainly going to be something that we'll be echoing in our season launch webinars and sharing with frontline industry workers. And also we know that 83% of Ontarians are intending to travel within Ontario this summer. So all things point to high visitation with a counterbalance of being prepared for busier numbers and being able to direct folks to places that hopefully alleviate any strain on residents, and clear communication. And I'm happy to say that I'm working with Julianne Sneps and Emily Cowan to create that response to potential over-tourism and to be prepared for any scenario that may arise.
Okay. Councillor Grasso, then Councillor Roberts.
Thank you, Sarah. You are, the dedication that you put into your job is really, really amazing. And thank you for all that you do. There was a report, and I think we talked about this today. There was a report by the by the New York Health Advisory about measles in Ontario, and I hope that doesn't deter the Americans from coming up. From what I do understand, bookings are up 30 to 40%. I'd like to say my own advisory to the people of the United States that will be taking their U.S. money at par. So let's hope for a great season. Let's hope for a great season, and let's manage the tourism this year for sure, and we're all looking forward to it.
Thank you, Councillor Grosso. On that note, I would like to say Destination Ontario is actually also heavily investing in purchasing billboards in the northern United States, just blankly stating the exchange rate. So we'll see what happens.
That's perfect. Exactly. I love it. Thank you.
Councillor Roberts.
It's hard to follow that act. Thank you so much for the report, and I like your rejigging of the timing when you come back to council. I think that's appropriate. I've raised this before, and I think we may have corresponded on it email-wise, but I'm wondering if there's a way that we could, because we've mentioned economic development and economic drivers, and I'm just wondering if there's a way we could better harness our Indigenous and community heritage and history. And of course we all, comes to mind, history lives here and Peter Lockyer's up, but conceptually, is there some way that we could do a better job investing in that development, that economic development, and that touristic draw? I don't think we'll ever be a Harrisburg. I think that's one of the names mentioned here might think that will happen, but I'm not sure. But it does seem like something, an area of economic development that is ready for real investment.
Yes, I would agree, and absolutely, there's a wonderful opportunity. First, to we've had, it's all at the very beginning, but we've already started to have conversations with our neighbors at Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte to, I think that political borders are not seen by the visitor, right? And there's a great opportunity to encourage folks to enjoy the Indigenous experiences that are happening on the other side of the bridge, and then to come and enjoy many of the culinary agritourism experiences that we have here in the county. On top of that, our community museums, our county museums staff are doing some amazing work, and certainly we could be better promoting that, and I think that that will be incorporated into the plan. But for 2025, the one concrete thing that is in the plan is that we are going to be allocating one award from our community partnership fund to somebody who identifies as Black, Indigenous, or a person of color. So we hope to encourage folks who may have been marginalized to further an initiative that benefits tourism.
Thank you. I wouldn't brush aside our loyalist history and heritage either, especially if we're appealing to New England. For visitors, and I think that's a rich one. It may be controversial, but it's a rich one, and we're here as a result, so I wouldn't brush that aside. Just a little question about, and this is purely personal, The Irish festival at the Waring House, is it an Irish festival or a Celtic festival?
I'm going to have to ask Nora.
Because us Welsh and some Scots might, be interested. Thank you.
Let's get Nora on the phone.
Councillor McNaughton.
Thank you. And thank you for your comment about managing if we do hit that mark where we're teetering on the brink of an unsustainable tourism season. And the willingness that all the organizations are showing to work together, both in marketing, particularly shoulder and winter seasons, but also that management if it becomes necessary. So I really want to appreciate both the working together, the breaking down of silos, and the organizations bringing all of their creativity and inventiveness together to create great offerings, but also create great solutions. And also when you do, as you're going through your process, developing all your future plans, please come and visit us at the Accessibility Committee because, yes. And I suspect you're already, well ahead of me on that and you're planning it, but we definitely want to talk to you and we definitely want to hear what's coming. And we have loved, certainly our staff members that you're working with have placed accessibility as a really important theme in their ongoing work, and we at the committee, and I believe it's safe to speak for the committee, we really appreciate that, and I'm sure you will too, and thank you in advance.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's been such a pleasure, honestly, to work with our community partners, and I just want to thank everybody who showed up tonight because it really is just such a great team to work with, and it makes work a whole lot of fun.
Okay, don't see anybody else. Great, thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Great report. A mover and a seconder to receive, please. Councillor Branderhorst, Councillor McNaughton.
This is Branderhorst McNaughton motion that the presentation by Sarah Fox, Executive Director, Visit the County, regarding an update of Visit the County's 2024 activities and plans for 2025 be received.
Thank you. Those in favor? That carries. Move now to deputations, and we have one from by David Walcott concerning the replacement of the shed. Welcome, David, and Scott Wentworth's here with you as well. So I just remind you, you've got 10 minutes to make your deputation.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Ferguson, councillors, CAO, staff, on having us this evening. I know you've probably met us in our other hats, and so just as a brief introduction in this capacity, I'm David Walcott. I'm the current president of the Prince Edward County Soccer Association, and co-presenting this evening Scott Wentworth, who has been involved with PEXA in one capacity or another since its inception, so a wealth of knowledge there. So the purpose of our deputation this evening is fourfold. First and foremost, we'd really like to request that the project be designated a project of community interest. We'd like to look and see if there is aspects that we could partner with in the municipality as it pertains to this project. We'd like to look at the next bound for us as PEXA, which is kind of an exciting second phase that we see that would have some more additional community involvement. And lastly, it's related, but a bit of a aside, but we'd like to request permission for security cameras on our site.
Thank you. PEXA has been around since 1999. We've been before council many times through those years, so entering our 26th year. What started as a single team that was supported by Belleville Soccer Association. We now have, this season, back over 1,000 players. Again, 895 kids this year, 132 adults and counting. Registration hasn't finished yet. Last year we had 71 teams, 49 community sponsors. We were playing games 4 nights a week, and we added last couple of seasons Saturday mornings with an under 4 league where 80 3- and 4-year-olds are playing at the same time, 4 separate games, parents, grandparents, siblings, cousins. Four-ring circus is probably the best description for that, but it really is a place of community. That really has been the secret sauce for Prince Edward County on any given night that we have games there. We're supported by 19 paid referees, and we still are run as a volunteer organization and a not-profit. The fields, if anyone knows the background to it, was McStephen Farm many years ago. The barn burned down and Johnson Street soccer fields were developed there. On that property, there's the remnants of the shed that became the PEXA shed. So that building probably goes back 50 some odd years. It was there on the property when we built the fields. To say it's in disrepair now would be not doing it justice. It's in quite poor condition right now. We're located, as you probably know, right across the street from PCI. We're on a main entrance coming into town on Johnson Street there, and this is our only building for storage and supporting what's become really a remarkable soccer facility for all of these players. Current condition is this shed is rotting. We're infested with squirrels. It's been built in an area that floods with most rainstorms through there. And the water main often freezes, either in the winter or in the spring thaw season. So it's not meeting our requirements to protect the storage capacities that we have right now. We have to store at times of the years 1,000 uniforms, 1,000 soccer balls. We have $80,000 worth of soccer goals to be stored and protected during the off season through here. And we have the irrigation system is housed within it as well. So current conditions are very, very poor and in need of replacement.
So what are we looking at doing? Really, first and foremost, what we'd like to do is pay homage to that site, both the history of that specific site as the McStephen Farm, but also as Prince Edward County being just such a rich agricultural area. So what we'd like to see is the concept that we have there is a shed that reflects the agriculture, the architecture reflects the agricultural past of the area. The shed would have sufficient storage for our items. We recently purchased an autonomous line painter, which is quite a valuable piece of equipment. It's stored in there, as well as we have over 1,000 jerseys, which fill up about 2 truckloads when we have to transport them. Right now, they can't be stored in the facility. Right now, our goals are stored outside, and as Scott mentioned, a pair of smaller goals right now is about 5,000 Canadian for a professionally made set of goals. So we'd like to see those stored inside, which the new design would allow for. Currently, we don't have any climate-controlled storage, so paint, for instance, for the fields freezes throughout the winter, and then we just use what we can in the spring. So we're looking for a small portion of the shed to be climate-controlled, not the entire thing. We'd like to update some of those irrigation controls. We've put in a concession area, and it might not be for tomorrow, but looking into the future and potential future uses, as well as our community events, the festival, that would be certainly a central area for us to use. We'd like a deliberate area for our portable toilets. Right now, they're just in a muddy depression and on the grass, so we'd like a deliberate area for those. And we have included in this a potential water filling station, which is where we see a potential partnership with the municipality as well. So what does that look like? This is a little bit in the weeds, but we provided it for your information so you can kind of see our vision, and you can see, a small portion of it that's climate controlled. Some separate storage for jerseys and some of the flags and things that the referees access, the concession and office area in a prominent corner, the large overhead door, which allows us to get the goals and larger equipment as well as deliveries into the storage shed. And you can see on this design, we also have included the potential for a water station again, which is where we see potential, one element of potential for a municipal partnership.
The area that we're proposing for the new shed, which is about 3 times larger than the existing one, is in that same corner of the property through here, a little bit more centrally located amongst the existing trees that are out there, with an additional fenced-in area to help protect the goals, those that aren't stored indoors. So we're trying to take all of those things into consideration and improve the general conditions that are there right now. We're hoping that we might be able to get this going for this fall. We've put out this draft design for it to subcontractors, suppliers, and to build a building that's robust. We've had some vandalism happening, so we want something that's not going to be prone to that. We're thinking that we're looking at about a $200,000 budget. That being said, there's been a lot of community input in everything that's gone into that field, so it may not be that, but we don't want to anticipate or assume that we're going to get the same kind of community support that we've had in the past. We're not looking for any municipal funding for it. Perhaps municipal partnerships for future development, like a walking trail that would completely encircle the Johnson Street facility through there. This would be that phase 2 with the trail really just extending. There is a trail that goes through there now that extends into the fairgrounds, and we see the opportunity for that continuing to further enhance the property, get more people using it of all ages. Security has become a problem. Do you want to speak to this?
Sure.
Okay, you're
I can
first.
speak to that, yeah. So this one really, what happened this year that changed things is provincial legislation came down that addressed vaping and cell phones in schools. And so they were required to enforce the no smoking that's always existed on school property. What that's resulted in is just a migration of the smoking area onto the Johnson Street field area, the parking area, which another no smoking area. And that has really resulted in a substantial increase in vandalism of what we've seen. So garbage, graffiti, and then most recently we had a break-in. You can see from the picture there. So we have had heavy involvement with municipal staff, and Lisa and her team have been amazing in working with us, both in dealing with the issues that we're having there and trying to be proactive in meeting with PCI leadership, OPP. And so we've had a lot of meetings. Really, what it comes down to is we think that there's a necessity for cameras there for both deterrence and evidence if we need it for potential problems. As we're looking for a substantial investment into the new one, we want to make sure that we can try to get rid of this problem and nip it before it continues with the substantial investment that we're looking at. Interestingly, I think it ties in really well with the CCTV request from the OPP, and certainly, personally, we give footage all the time to the OPP in our other property, and so it would be something where we could provide that as well in this case. So just to wrap up really quickly, just a summary. So we're looking for that approval for a project of community interest, discuss any potential partnerships. That second phase that's a little bit down the road, discuss that, and then we're looking for permission for those security cameras. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much. A daunting project. Councillor Brandhurst and Councillor McNaughton.
Hi, thank you to both of you for not only spearheading this project, but also for everything you do with keeping PEXA alive, if that's the constantly keeping the fields in good condition, managing getting refs on the fields, it's organizing those 80 kids, because as Councillor Nyman and I both know, those Saturday morning, it is chaos. So thank you for that. But also as somebody who has participated in PEXA now for 24 of the 26 years it's been going on, it is life-changing, and it's also, to councillors that might not know, so many members of our municipality have went on to compete in post-secondary soccer, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Some directly coached by Coach Wentworth over here. And this is not just a rec league that supports our community. Once again, this is a league that makes individuals that have moved here feel like they have a home. This is a league that, like I have said before, doctors come to our community and make friends. This is a place that is so much greater than I think it's than just a few outdoor soccer pitches that people come and kick a ball around and run in circles. So if you need a motion in the future to get security cameras on the property to help, because what you've shared some of the graffiti posted on the shed, and that's incredibly inappropriate. for the times that we're in. So any motion that I can do and put forward and get your project going is would be great. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councillor McNaughton?
I think the clerk might have a motion that you might want to move regarding this becoming a project of community interest and potentially looking for a report to ensure that the criteria is met for security cameras. I do believe for public property, there are certain criteria that must be met, and I would.
Okay, Madam CAO.
Through the chair to council, or through the mayor to council, policy CLS 09 is part of our government and people section of our policies, was passed, I'm not sure if it was last year, but not too long ago. It does lay out the process. Basically, if council wishes for cameras to be included, then a simple motion to direct us to implement in accordance with policy CLS 09, which I can get the name of in a second, but it is the video surveillance municipal properties policy. What the policy would do is require some official language that we have to put on the building or wherever the camera is, so that people know that they're so it's formal notice, and we then list this as one of the locations in that policy where there are cameras. So provided the intention is to put it on municipal property, then that would be the easiest way.
And if I may, the intention, we aren't even looking for funding with that either. We're happy to provide that funding and implement as soon as humanly possible, which for us would be about tomorrow, with your approval.
So just to continue, may I follow
ahead.
up? So I have heard a little bit more about the security problems that have been longstanding, ongoing, and problematic, and do sympathize. I'm often wary to have public cameras in public spaces, but I think this particular case, it's important to considering behavior that has happened in the past. So I have a feeling there's a mover of this motion already. What's that? You've got a second. Well, okay, I'm out. I'm totally out. That's okay. Anyway, I'll just support their motion. I'm really happy to do that.
We don't need a staff report.
Councillor Pennell?
You're also looking for this, the right to go out and collect money and be able to give a receipt. I think it's a wonderful way to get started. It's worked well in our community in the past. I fully support it.
Councillor Roberts?
Madam Clerk, do we need a report? Can't we just do it tonight? So couldn't we tonight declare? Okay, good, because I'd like to do it all tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't need it.
So you've got a motion, Madam Clerk? Okay.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes. The motion would be that council declare the PECSA shed replacement a project of community interest for the purposes of receiving donations and issuing official donation receipts for income tax purposes. That staff be requested to explore partnering opportunities with PECSA, and that permission be granted for security cameras in accordance with municipal policy CLS 09, video surveillance for municipal properties.
Okay. Everybody, that okay with you?
Yeah, thank you, CAO and clerk, for those fantastic words. I appreciate it. And my seconder is Councillor Princeton.
Okay, everybody clear on this motion? Any questions about it? No? All those in favor?
Yay.
And that carries. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you all very much.
Your worship, we still need a motion to receive.
Yeah.
Okay, we should just
Councillor
put that on.
Brandhurst, Councillor McNaughton.
Sorry. This is now a Brandon Horst McNaughton motion that that the deputation by David Walcott, Prince Edward County Soccer Association regarding a project of community interest being a shed replacement be received.
Thanks. Those in favor? And that carries. Okay, we'll move to comments from the audience. We don't have anybody pre-registered, so we'll ask if there's anybody in the audience, and there is. Welcome, Dwight. Just state your name and position for the record, please.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Ferguson, Mayor of Council. Good evening. My name is Dwight De Silva. I'm here on behalf of the Prince Edward County Chamber of Commerce as the CEO. As stated in our letter of support provided to Council, Visit the County plays an important role in the economic health and growth in Prince Edward County. The Chamber has represented the voice of business here for over a century, and since 2022, Visit the County has added their voice to the chorus. Our tourism industry remains a pillar of our economy. It brings in critical MAT dollars that are helping repair our roads and other services. It supports hundreds of local businesses and thousands of residents. Approximately 57% of our chamber members are directly tied to tourism, hospitality, and accommodation, and that doesn't even account to all the spin-offs from there. That means this industry is not just seasonal, it's foundational. The work between the Chamber and Visit the County, from promoting events hosted by our local businesses to developing a four-season economy to initiatives like the proposed Made in PEC project, demonstrates a coordinated approach to strengthening our economic resilience. Our recent 50,000 municipal service agreement, thank you, complements these efforts, helping us deliver workshops, campaigns, and outreach that support businesses across sectors. But we face real headwinds and need to be building bridges, not barriers. We are in a moment of both opportunity and challenge. Shifting tariffs, political instability, red tape create uncertainty and are an increasing concern for local entrepreneurs, farmers, artisans, and makers, many of whom depend on American and foreign customers or suppliers. We need every tool at our disposal to keep our economy strong. Tourism is one of those tools. The dollars spent here by visitors stay here, circulate here, are reinvested here, and support families and businesses directly. That's why the destination marketing and management work of Visit the County is so critical. They're not just promoting beaches and wine, they're sustaining an economy that supports thousands of county residents. We trust that Council will continue to invest in coordinated strategic economic development, continue supporting Visit the County and the Chamber as your partners, not just in tourism and business, but in the long-term prosperity of this community. Together, we can navigate the challenges ahead and build an economy that works year-round for everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Stuart. Any questions?
Easy.
Oh, good. Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience who wants to make a 3-minute comment? I don't see anybody. So can I have a mover and a seconder to receive the comment from the audience? Councillor McNaughton and Councillor Prinzen.
Thank you, McNaughton. Prinzen, motion to receive the comments from the audience.
Thanks. Those in favor? That carries. Thank you. Move to items for consideration at 11.1, which is a report from Finance and IT. If we could have a mover and a seconder, Councillor St. Jean, Councillor Branderhorst, that's on the floor.
Thank you, Your Worship. St. Jean Branderhorst motion that Council receive report FIN 07-2025, the 2025 notational tax rates used to calculate the municipal levy change on the reverse side of the 2025 property tax notice will not include any 2025 supplemental or write-off tax adjustments after the 2025 roll return. 3, that the tax ratios and subclass tax reductions for 2025 be the same as the tax ratios with the addition of the aggregate extraction property tax and subclass tax reductions that were adopted by Council in 2024. And 4, that the bylaws as listed on this agenda establishing the following tax ratios and tax rate reductions for prescribed property classes and subclasses for 2025 and 2025 tax rates be approved.
And the next page.
Yes. And would you like me to read all of those tax rates?
No.
Then as attached. 5, that a bylaw is listed on this agenda to adopt the estimates for the sums required during the year 2025 for operating purposes be approved. that a bylaw is listed on this agenda to requisition the sums required for school board purposes and to establish the rates to be levied for the same be approved. 7, that a bylaw as listed on this agenda to amend Schedule C tax rates for the prescribed business class of bylaw 33/2023 be approved. And 8, that staff be directed to reassess the potential implementation of a municipal vacant home tax in 2026-27 and report back to council.
Okay, thank you very much. And we've got Lindsay Cutler, Revenue Service Supervisor here. Is there anything you want to add to this, Lindsay?
No, through your worship, this is just a standard report that comes to council every year to talk about the different tax tools and what makes up that to bring your levy for the next billing period for final bills.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's about this time of year, every year. Any questions? Councillor McNaughton?
What's not standard is the last clause regarding vacant home taxes and our municipality and the potential for it. So the report talks about the steps that would be required to find out if the community was interested in undertaking it. And I'm just wondering what that, so just based on the wording, of the motion itself, does that essentially put that into the public consultation, the potential for a public consultation on this matter into effect? Or would there be subsequent reports prior?
So part of that, we would be looking at, we'd want to look at different municipalities too and see how they're running the program because it is very administrative heavy. I do feel like we need to do some more information sessions to see what we're looking at as far as how many properties. We don't really have for sure an amount of how many properties we even fit in that class. So there would be a little bit of consulting before the report comes forward to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Madam CAO?
Through the chair, I think if you would like this research to take place and include public consultation, then you should amend the motion. If you want another report before you come back to public consultation, then that's how it's written right now.
That's fine. It just, when it talks about this would require consultation and the paragraph that talks about consultation and the development of the criteria, I just wasn't quite clear how far down that road we already were. Thank you. I understand.
Councillor Nyman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just maybe need to understand it a bit better. So for the vacant home tax, it says 2627. I'm just wondering, is it 26 that we're looking to have that ready if we were going to go that way, or is it 27? So I'm just trying to figure out where in the process we are and when are we looking to go that route if we are. Is it 26 or 27?
Lindsay?
Through your worship, we would be looking at starting to look at different criteria now, but my recommendation would be waiting to bring a report to you in 2026 before budget goes for 27 tax rates.
Well,
thank you. So then we're looking at December of 26. If I understand that, or whenever the budget, November or late 2026, I guess.
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Nyman. As the report indicates on page 98, staff, there's only a few municipalities doing this and they're all very, very large. So we don't think this is a good idea for Prince Edward County right now. But what we're suggesting is we'll watch how it's done in these bigger places over the next year, collect some research, come back and have this conversation with council, and then explore whether or not this could be implemented in 27. If that is not what council wants, then I think a rewording of the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No. Councillor Pennell?
Excuse me. I just wanted to ask, when it comes down to vacant houses for a tax rate, what exactly is a vacant house? I can see if it burns down, yeah, there should be no taxes. But if it's, I don't care if nobody's living in it, 11 months a year, if it's a house, should it not be charged as a house, period?
Lindsay, any comment?
So through your worship, this municipal vacant home tax is for properties that are not lived in for more than 6 months. So if this were a house that was lived in more than 6 months and should council wish to approve this down the road, there would be a higher tax rate for those houses. This is to try to lower vacant homes for not being used for purposes of your own residence.
Okay.
Okay, that's clearly understood. And I would fully support that there be no difference because they have the opportunity to rent it out for 6 months. So that would be my opinion if we're looking forward on that.
Okay. No more questions. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Carries. Thank you very much, Lindsay. I'll move to 11.2 concerning the summer student approval. And we've got our HR manager is here. Welcome, Angela. Can I have a mover and a seconder put this on the floor, please? Councillor Maynard and Councillor Roberts.
Thank you, Worship. Maynard Roberts motion that council receive report CLS 16-2025. The council approve the hiring of 2 bylaw services students in 2025 with revenue to be offset by anticipated parking tickets. The council approved the hiring of 1 building service student in 2025 funded by Building Reserve, and that council approved the hiring of 9 additional summer students in 2025 funded from unspent salary dollars in Q1 2025 and grants.
Okay, thank you very much. As I say, welcome, Angela. Is there anything you want to add to this before I ask members of council if they have any questions?
I just wanted to say, I believe everybody's read the report. We've gone through it in quite a bit of detail, trying to figure out which students we really desperately need, which we would love to have, and which are would be great to have, which would be our wish list. So it's quite a different list. We're here in particular, this is the first time I've ever presented this report as a result of Councillor Pennell's motion a month or so ago.
Right. Because traditionally, we have a number of students that are onboarded about this time of year for these purposes. Okay, questions for members of council? Councillor Pennell.
Yeah, is this normally roughly the same amount as we do every year?
No, in 2023, so that was the first summer that I was here, I believe we had 12 students, just off the top of my head. Sorry, we had 15 students. Last year we had 19 students. This year we're presenting 12 in total.
On page.
MCAO.
That's on page 110. It's the attachment to this report.
Right. Okay. Other questions? Councillor Engelsdorfer.
Yeah, thank you. Angela, just on the attachment, it says that the numbers don't include the employer's CPP, EI, and EHT contributions. So where does that get accounted for? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
Anybody else? Nope. All those in favor? And that carries. Thank you very much, Angela. Now to a report from C-SPY concerning transit vehicle.
I'm so sorry. Totally confused. What do you need me to do?
No, you can't.
What? You're good. No, we've voted.
Yeah, you did great.
Go.
I did not do enough of these, sorry.
Oh, it's not usually this, painless.
We can ask you more questions.
No. Get out while you can. Okay, welcome, Julianne. Can we have a mover and a seconder put this on the floor, please? Councillor Prinzen, Councillor Pennell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a Prinzen Pennell motion that council receive report CSP-11-2025 and that council endorse a project to fund the purchase of 3 vehicles by County Transit's for County Transit's use at a total project cost of $522,051, funded in full by grant contributions from provincial and federal sources. And those being 1 diesel gas bus, 18 seats with bike racks, 1 diesel gas van. Don't know how you can have a diesel. Oh, that's 5 to 11 seats with bike racks. 1 diesel gas accessible bus, 5 to 11 seats, and 3 that a bylaw to execute the federal transfer payment agreement for the transit vehicle project be brought forward at a future council meeting. And if I could have a question, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Whenever. So I guess a diesel gas is just a diesel fuel, is that, because you can't have diesel and gas, so I'm just looking for clarity. I know, so that's all I'm looking for.
Through the mayor to Councillor Prinzen, these are categories that were actually provided to us by the funder and their wording, so I'm not an expert in diesel or gas or vans, but I'm assuming that...
Don't put gas into diesel, that's all
no,
I'll tell you.
I know enough not to do that,
So,
thank you.
I'm sure they're diesel buses, but diesel fuel, so.
Diesel fuel.
But anyways, I support it. I think when I see funded in full by grants, how can you not?
Yep. Councillor McNaughton?
Thank you. When it's time for purchasing, when you go forward, are you limited to strictly diesel? Or can you actually do a little bit of cost benefit analysis and explore cleaner sources of power?
Through the mayor to Councillor McNaughton, yes, at the time of purchase, we can explore cleaner fuels. We're not at a point where we could explore hybrid or electric, but just because of the amount of geography that's covered by our transit program and the lack of infrastructure or the need for more infrastructure in order to support that, but we could, especially with the smaller vehicles, we could explore a non-diesel option potentially.
Okay, Councillor Nyman and Councillor Hirsch.
Oh, sorry. So it's 3 vehicles. So I guess all 3 of those vehicles are for the use of Prince Edward County, right? So, and I guess how many is in use now? And is this going to increase the level of service?
Through the mayor to Councillor Nyman. Yes, so the first vehicle that's on the list, the 18-seat vehicle, is a replacement of the vehicle that currently runs the fixed route bus from Picton through Bloomfield and up to Belleville. That bus that we're currently operating is nearing the end of its useful life, so that needs to be replaced. The other 2 vehicles are smaller vehicles, and they're contemplated for local service or on-demand service that would increase the level of service within Prince Edward County. And so we'll be coming back in the fall with a report that includes recommendations from our transit strategy refresh that would give you a specific idea of how those vehicles would be deployed. But the idea would be that we'd be going from 1 vehicle that's dedicated to our public transit program to 3, and that those smaller vehicles would be used for more service within the county.
Yep.
Thank you. So the ones are the replacement, and one of them is on demand, and the other one is going to be used basically for just in the county. Just explain what the on demand is. So, is to me that would be in busy times, like say the summer. So, is it going to be used all the time, or just explain the on demand?
Go ahead, Julian.
Sure, and through the mayor. So as I mentioned before, we'll be coming back with a report that describes recommendations for the future of transit services in the county. And that could include a combination of things like fixed routes that run a specific route that take you from A to B on a regular schedule. But what's emerging in rural and smaller communities is on-demand type service. Because we have such a large geography and a small population density, we can't run a lot of fixed routes. It doesn't make sense. So the model that's emerging is more of an on-demand where you have a vehicle that's available, and based on where the customers or the riders need to go, that vehicle is scheduled to meet their needs on demand. That's one version of the future, and we'll bring back the specific recommendations in the fall.
Councillor Hirsch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just responding to Councillor McNaughton's point, and she can see this coming, I'm sure. In terms of fuel, hydrogen is certainly an option, especially in transit vehicles, and you can refill in 5 minutes. So maybe that's something to consider when this gets to procurement. Thank you.
Councillor Pennell.
I know right now the county's running under basically Buy Canadian, if you can. The question I've got is, if there's a variation on price that perhaps an American unit was slightly cheaper, could we still, when that comes in, have it submitted or at least looked at as to recommendation? Because if we can buy Canadian, we should be. And I realize there may be a price difference.
MCAO.
Through the mayor to Councillor Pennell, so that's a question related to our purchasing bylaw. And when we changed the purchasing bylaw, when council made those decisions last time, it was really related to smaller purchase up to $100,000. So that is where there is some flexibility to make location the key driver as opposed to price. It would not apply to larger projects, and I believe that all three of these vehicles would exceed that. So we would go back to the rest of the purchasing bylaw that would look to a tender with the lowest bid being what we would go with.
Quick follow-up.
But if the both prices, would they be presented to us, Canadian versus American?
Through the mayor to Councillor Pennell, we would not be coming back for these because the purchase of these individual buses is within the CAO authority under our purchasing bylaw. So we would just execute the tenders.
Councillor Maynard.
Thank you. Maybe they're gas or diesel. It might be gas/diesel. I'm just curious, so we're coming back, you'll have a report to us in the fall. I've actually been kind of noticing the buses this time of year have very few, if any, are running empty, the ones that I'm seeing in the rural areas. So when do we get a report on the, do we get any detail on the ridership? Like, are there times when we really, like, I followed one, which was why I was a little late today, at, just about 4 o'clock. So it would have come out of Belleville at, off of work time, school time, and it was empty. So I'm just curious when we'll get those numbers to see so that we can best utilize our routes and our funds.
Ridership. Go ahead, Julianne.
Yes, and through the mayor, we can provide those statistics for the CAO's quarterly report, and so you can see the ridership for the first quarter in that one. Ridership is up, but we're certainly not operating at full capacity.
No. Okay, don't see anybody else. Call the vote. All those in favor? And that carries. Thank you very much, Julianne. So we'll go to items for consent. We've got 11 items here. Is there anything anybody wants to pull? No? Can I have a mover and a seconder to receive these? Councillor Branderhorst, seconded by Councillor Prinzen.
This is a Branderhorst Princeton motion that the following items for consent be approved, 12.1 through 12.11.
Thank you. Those in favor? That carries. Bylaws for consideration. Mover and a seconder for this. Councillor Brandahorst, Councillor St. Jean.
This is Brandahorst St. Jean motion that the following bylaws be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, 13.1.1 through 13.1.11.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that carries. Item 14, confirmatory bylaw, Councillor Brandahorst and Councillor St. Jean.
This is a Brandahorst St. Jean motion that the following bylaw be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the County of Prince Edward at the meeting held on April 8, 2025.
Those in favor? And that carries. Item 16, Councillor Brandahorst and Councillor Prinzen.
This is a Brandahorst Princeton motion that the meeting adjourn at 8:58 p.m.
Thank you. Those in favor? That carries. Thank you. We're adjourned.